I guess you've been living under a rock for the past week or so, from what you're telling me, man. You ain't been dialed in on what's been going on out here in these streets, I take it.
Nah, you're gonna have to fill me in on that one.
All right, so I'm gonna try to make it short and sweet. I don't want to, bore you to death with all the details, but basically, it was some drama with the Breakfast Club. So, little backstory, the lady Jess, she went out on maternity leave. She was out for a while, and then she picked this other girl to fill in for her. This girl Lauren.
Lauren, yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
so Lauren been on the show for a while she was out for maternity leave. Well, I guess there was some miscommunication. Jess thought when she came back that I guess Lauren wasn't gonna be there no more, and then Jess was just gonna come right back in her spot. Well, the girl Lauren was still there when Jess came back. So instead of it being three people sitting there talking, it was four people. And even when Jess had like her own segment, it was called Jess with the Mess or something. So even during that segment, the girl Lauren was still sitting there, and there was times where like the girl Lauren would be talking, and she was kind of like becoming a part of the show instead of it being just Jess being the one that was doing, majority of the talking because it was her segment. So it was just kind of odd and awkward. So Jess kind of got in her feelings. So she went on IG Live and she went crazy. I mean, she was doing a whole bunch of cussing and all. She was like, "Hey, Breakfast Club, they kind of treat it like it's a high school, and it's unprofessional. And they didn't communicate with me. They didn't let me know that Lauren was gonna be there when I got back." And she was like, basically, she was saying, "I ain't no hater though, because I'm the one that picked for Lauren to fill in for me when I went out on maternity leave." So she was like, I was upset with her at first, but then I had to realize that my anger was towards at the wrong person. It really should have been at the people that was really making the decisions on how the show and stuff was going to run. So then they came back after all of that, and they actually went on air and just talked about it and aired it all out. And then
I did see a snippet of that. Yeah.
okay, okay,
All right.
yeah,
So let me chime in real quick.
yeah,
So we're talking comedian versus an actual
journalists, yep,
journalist,
yep.
right? So I watched the episodes with Lauren while Jess was gone. And I will tell you that I tuned in more to Lauren because her research and insight on topics was far more thorough than Jess. When I want a funny ghetto perspective, then yeah, Jess Hilarious is the one. But when I really want someone that's knowledgeable of the subject and really giving some pretty decent insight, then and I'm not saying that Jess don't do her thing. It's just that Lauren is a true journalist, or at least appears to be. I don't know her true background, but I will tell you that Jess is more entertaining and Lauren is more compelling.
Yeah, so
Whether
to
you
answer you,
did,
so to answer your question, so Lauren is she does come from a journalistic background. She comes from the TMZ tree. So she used to work for TMZ before she started working on the Breakfast Club.
got you. So, so there, right there, is the outlier to my point. You know, Lauren just more compelling. So, with that being said, what do you do? Like, do you, and I think the choice was, well, why lose that audience that's tuning in to Lauren? Keep them both. The problem is, are they paying Lauren the same money they paying Jess?
No, it can't be. No.
But let's think about this. Did the show miss a beat without Jess? Because the show existed before Jess. Um, and the two pillars of that show are still there for a reason. Now, I get it. If this rant is to spin off and go do what Yee is doing, then cool. But I don't watch that show either. Um, Now, in my opinion, no shade at Angela Yee or Jess. I prefer to listen to Lauren. She's just, I don't know. To me, I tune in for what she has to say and perspective versus the other two. It's me. One is
Yeah, so
a
yeah, so
ghetto. I don't want to
yeah,
say
yeah.
ghetto.
Nah, you
Like,
right. You right.
I mean, because I'm ghetto, so I'm not going. I'm not knocking it. There's advantages to having that background and that survivalist mentality that makes you a hustler. That's what Jess is. I respect the hustle. But when it comes to where I want to spend my time or who I want to listen to, I probably listen to Lauren. When the subject matter is what it needs to be, right? That's the other piece, right? Breakfast Club is the Breakfast Club. I'm only listening when there's a somebody up there that's has something that really is impactful. Outside of all of the catch and grab, goofy stuff, weirdo stuff, I'm not a fan of it. I don't watch none of it when it comes to that type of content. But if you have someone that's compelling up there, like a Shaka Khan or, one of those brothers that's really trying to better the community, yo, I'm all in. And if Jess is up there, that's cool. If Lauren's up there, that's cool. But normally in those situations when they have somebody compelling, that's when Lauren just kind of zero in. And like I said, it's all I don't watch Breakfast Club every show. I don't watch it every day. I watch it here and there. And, sometimes the less the better. Um, because really at the end of the day, if we really want to talk about it, like some of what they do is the problem in the culture. And,
Hey, hey.
you know, um, we never gonna get anywhere if we don't really take a, a real turn on fixing what's broken. Either, I get it. Sometimes it's just some days to be lighthearted, but what are we really doing for the people? And I'm not saying that they don't do things. Some days I just feel like some of the stuff they put up there is just adds to the problems. Over.
Yeah, well, I think when some of the drama came in, is there was a lot of people online that felt that, and you kind of just alluded to it, that Lauren was doing a better job than Jess. So people was basically saying that Lauren should have basically either just took over her job, and they did. I mean, they were just pointing out. They were saying Lauren do a better job. They said she's more researched, she's more prepared. She's more of a subject matter expert when it comes to all of this stuff dealing with just journalism, because that was her background. So she was just coming to the job more professional, more prepared. You could just tell that when it came to the different topics, she was able to breeze through 'em with ease. She speaks better. That she's well spoken.
But why can't two sisters get a check?
They can, but people just they created a situation where it was just gonna be some kind of turmoil, because it just looked like Lauren was coming in to take her spot, which that's not even what she was trying to do.
Okay,
She was just
okay,
filling
okay.
in.
Hold on. Let, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. um, Jess gets mad at Lauren. Jess feels as if she goes on a platform that she already knows has not been equally yoked when it comes to wi- spotlight for the men and women that are on the show, i.e., Angela Yee. So you walked into a situation where Angela Lee already had to put the peace signs up, and now she out there still under the I Heart flag, trying to do whatever. So if you have that celebrity, my question is, why haven't you stood on that celebrity and built your own platform? You know, I knew more of Jess Hilarious than I did Gilly the Kid, but Gilly and Wallow just dug into the trenches. and got it done. And I'm not knocking that Jess can't do it. What I would say is, sister, spread your wings. You funny. You funny. She funny. Like I said, it has nothing to do with her journalism. But if you funny like that, go build your own empire. You got it. You don't need iHeartRadio. Go do it. Like, there's been times where, like the episode with Dame Dash, when Dame Dash actually went in on them other two that sit on the panel and challenged them. Like, yo, you don't own nothing. You can't give your son a job here. Like, you don't get no profit sharing. You get a paycheck, right? So if you already know that that's what it is, these are the things that I be talking about all the time. What it You got influence, but you don't have power. Like, cut the cord. You make enough money to where you should be straight by all the wilding out episodes you didn't done. You probably got yourself set up pretty nice. Yo, go go be the next drink champs, you know, Wallow and Gilly. I mean, $1 million worth of game, sweetheart. And lift and do it in Baltimore. Go home and do it in your city. Lift your
Yeah.
city up. You know what I'm saying? And be that firm planted, life force in your own city, which you can do. She can do it. She got the power to do it. But at that point, she would have power. At Breakfast Club, all she'll ever get is influence. And influence is only as good as the white executives that own it deem it. Over.
Gosh almighty. It's all about taking the power back, right?
Man, you can move the way you want to move when you own it.
Yeah, I mean, she got a big social media following. Like you said, I mean, she's already known. I mean, she's a comedian. She's funny. She's already been on TV. She's been on shows. So yeah, I don't see why she couldn't do her own thing if she wanted to. I do have a quick question because I don't know if you noticed or not. I don't think I ever got the answer. Did they ever really come out and say why Angela Yee? I can't. Why are we both screwing her name up? Anyway, did they ever
Yeah, I know
come
what
out
you're
and
talking about.
say? Yeah, did they ever come out and say what was the real reason why
I don't,
she
I don't, I
chose
don't, I
Leah?
don't know. I don't know if it was about the pay or, I don't know the details of it. I just know that for whatever reason, she wanted out, but she still ended up back on their platform,
Yeah, she's got her own show.
on their, on the iHeart
Yeah,
platform,
and it comes on
right?
right
So,
after the Breakfast Club.
got you, right? Understood. Another, why can't we own things? Like, uh, Roland Martin, Roland Martin. I love Roland Martin for the fact that I don't always agree with him, but when Joy Reid got fired for MSNBC, he said, "Look, sweetheart, all you had was influence until that white executive said he didn't want you up there no more. That was it. It was just a." He went home. Somebody whispered it in his ear. He came back and he was like, "Sister girl, pack your bags. You done." What else can you do? You don't own it. There's no need for tears. Celebrate that as a new beginning. And like Roland Martin said, stop trying to play to their numbers game and thinking that you got influence when you don't have power. MSNBC, Joy Reid should have knew what was coming when they fired Tiffany Cross 2 years prior to that. They should have known that was once you get too black, you say the wrong thing that offends the wrong person, they yanked Tiffany Cross right off of MSNBC, right? And now she's got the Native Land podcast. Um, I don't always agree with her point of view, but you know, um, and she was kind of bashing the brothers on MSNBC. Um, and now she still don't have the same. She still got the same perspectives to a degree, but she's learning to uh more eloquently uh, put her point out without being so abrasive. I think she's gotten a lot of pushback from the men, um, and she's trying to walk back some of the positions that she's had. But ultimately, like Roland Martin said, you get on those platforms and you chasing the influence, but you don't have power. And when you don't have power, you have nothing. Just like unaffiliated creatives, brother, you own that. You can't nobody take that from you outside of IG, right? So you already know the you already know the game plan. You know, we already didn't talked about that. So you know, it's very strategic in your end game and end goals and what you want to do. But I think Just Hilarious could definitely uh, take her show on the road to Baltimore and really build up a platform. Others have done it. Look at 85 South. Like, you know, countless people have already built it up. And one thing about it is that they can't take it from them. Like Tyler Perry, the big studios can do whatever they want, say whatever they want, but he gets to put out what he wants to put out. And if they don't want to put it out, he can put it out himself. Like that's an empire. That's power. You know, but sometimes you got to be in the trenches for a long time to get that power. Are you willing to go a decade in the you know, trying to chop it up out the mud, get all the infrastructure, logistics like what I'm doing right now? You know, not everybody got the heart for that. So I hope Jess hear what I'm saying, and she's a talented sister. I hope she break. If she not happy, break off and go get your real power, sis.
Well, it's
Over.
crazy. It's crazy because she sits in the same room with a guy that could probably really help her and point her in the right direction. In Charlemagne. Now I know he said a lot of crazy things. I know back in the day he used to always just go for the shock value and stuff. But over the last couple of years, you can tell he didn't kind of switch his motto and he more focusing on the other businesses and stuff that he got outside the Breakfast Club. I mean, he got the Brilliant Idiots podcast. He got the Black Effect, which is a whole network of podcast that he owns, Black Effect, and he doing other stuff. So I'm pretty sure she could probably sit down with him and he could probably, help her out or point her in the right direction at least.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do that, right? I mean, she's got the power. She could create her own Wildin' Out. She could create a female comedian platform that she owns and put together. All she would have to do is go back into Baltimore, take some of that money she made off the Breakfast Club, buy her a building, strip it out, figure it out. Right? It don't have to be something elaborate. It just got to be something that she owns. You know, you got the she got enough people around her that really do it. Um, I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't understand how people be moving like that and don't really got to understand the infrastructure of what they trying to do. It baffles me every time. Like, when are we gonna get? And I mean, just I don't mean to get deeper with it, but it's like the election and our people just so bummed out. But ultimately, man, we don't own nothing. We don't own nothing, and we begging for their crumbs. And I have nothing against my brothers and sisters on the other tribe, but I think what's been shown is that you know you thought someone was marching with you, but they really wasn't in some cases, and you thought you had power when you only really had influence. Because if you really had power, then you would, as a part, you could tell that party to do what you wanted to do, but you only had influence. And then behind closed doors, the real people with the power that made the decisions, and we got to live with it. Shit, over.
Hey, so to answer your question about, you don't understand why people don't choose to go the route of, ownership, owning their own business, starting their own thing. To be honest with you, it's either taking the easy road or it's taking the hard road. Starting your own thing, starting your own business, owning your own stuff is hard. So if you don't want to do all the blood, sweat, equity, tears, and all that, you
No,
just
I
gonna
don't. I
take.
don't think. No, I think. No, I disagree. I think it ain't hard. Everybody want to get from 0 to 60, right? Like conversation I had with my wife, and I'll use this example. My wife came to me and said, I want a food truck. right? And I go, uh, well, what recipes do you have? Well, I would just do XYZ, XYZ. Have you, before we jump to a food truck, why don't you sell some plates and test the product? Do a market test of the product, right? And then from there, if you test the product and you got something decent, sell some plates. Sell enough plates to buy a food cart, right? And then once you buy a food cart, then you buy a food truck, right? Versus wanting a food truck first before you tested the idea, right? And I learned that from talking to you and being a partner with you. Sometimes you got to let the business scale itself. Because if you let it scale itself, it'll tell it if it's what it needs to be, it will scale. It don't need a whole bunch of trickery. You don't need to go to the bank and trick somebody to it's gonna if 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 little Sally got the best muffins in the world, it ain't gonna take but one or two people to taste them muffins and it's gonna go. And a lot of times when you have a great product, it snowballs and it goes fast. Like your podcast, you have a great product, right? And you know, the only thing now is just phase two of that of what you do with it. But it's a product and the labor of love that you didn't have for the last 24 months. I've watched it, I've seen it, I've been a part of it. But everybody don't when they start talking about 2 years, like I'm about to go on that 2 year journey on my content walk because the infrastructure is ready. Look how long it took to get the infrastructure. And that's what every time I come on your podcast, I say the same thing. People don't people don't think about infrastructure, right? When I look at this, and it's like, oh, I just want to put some music out. Oh, okay. How much of that do you control? Well, I control everything. Okay, who mixed it? Who mastered it? Who did your artwork? Who did your website? Who did your marketing? Who did your content? Who did your video? Who did your your album inlays? Who did your your illustration and like there's so much stuff that people um they don't look at the whole picture. But the question is, are you willing to ride a whole decade with with no return, just building infrastructure for a decade to build infrastructure? Are you willing to go that route? Most people want that microwave. They want it right now. And that's the problem. You don't want to put in that work. When you put in that work, you'll get it'll come back. It'll be just like them muffins. It ain't gonna take long. It ain't gonna take long. You just gotta have the infrastructure first. I waited 10 years to go on a 24-month run that I'm about to go on right now. And I'm already and I talk to you about it all the time. It's this is where I'm going. This is where I want to go. Everything's set up for the kill. Because you can't you gotta stay, you gotta stay ready. So you ain't gotta get ready. Over.
Man, you said a decade. Gosh almighty. Yeah, man, that's a long time. Yeah, the average person don't want to put that much time in. Like you said, they just kind of want to stick it in the microwave, wait, put it on a minute, it come out piping hot.
Yeah, man. And if it ain't a minute in the microwave, man, they don't want it. Right? That's why you got so much churn. You got so much churn in the entrepreneurial space, right? It, Entrepreneurship is a muscle, right? It's like playing basketball. Do you not practice all your life and then you just think you're gonna step on the final four, you know, tournament floor and take home the chip and you ain't done no practice, you ain't played no high school ball, you ain't played no AAU, you ain't played, you know, college. I mean, freshman, sophomore year, you ain't done none of that, and you expect to just walk on the floor and and get the chip? Come on, man. You're gonna look foolish out there. And that's how a lot of people end up. They just look foolish. They don't really plan and look at it from a different perspective. I don't know. Maybe I'm just built different. I think different. But I wish people the best, man. But better sell them plates first before you buy a food truck.
Sell the plates first. Gosh almighty. So don't jump out the window, man. Let the business scale itself.
Hey, it's tight, but it's right. Tight, but it's right.
Hey man, you gave her a good idea too, and I mean her. I'm talking about Jess Hilarious. I don't know if she's even thought of that or not, but to do a female version of Wild 'N Out, that would be crazy.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, man.
If tonight's conversation, let's talk about tonight's conversation. Like, I don't think people do enough. Sometimes you gotta pay attention. Sometimes it's double dutch. Sometimes you just gotta watch some other people jump that rope before you jump in. But I'm gonna take the podcast tonight's conversation. They they podcast about black men, black women, and the problems and all of that and perspectives on each side of that. So that podcast that talks about gender wars, they did the exact same thing that 85 South did. They was like, you know what? We gonna monetize this thing before YouTube. Like, we not waiting. We're gonna take the whole podcast to a venue. Now, they were very strategic. You can't go on tonight's conversations and get a full episode. You'll get snippets of the shorts, and you got to go to their Patreon to see the full episodes. You only gonna see clips. And if you want to experience the whole show, then come to the venue. But that was engineered from the beginning. They went on a whole 2, 3 year run with just clips, never showing you the full show, the full segment. And the end game to that was come to the venue. And I'm sure they knocked everybody in the head for $20 to come in the venue. Guess what? It was full of people in there, mainly women, right? They love that type of stuff. And you give them an opportunity to step up to the mic and say, tell them, ask a question. Think about this. You got $20 to get in, 500 people in at the venue, 20 times 500. What's that? 10,000, something like that. Whatever that
I
is.
don't know. Let's see. You said 20 times 10,000.
20 times, it's about 500 people in there.
You said 20 times 10,000.
500.
Oh, hold on.
500.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, 20 times 500 is 10,000.
Okay. So, and let's just say at that venue they made 10,000 at the door and then they serving drinks. Right. Right there and there, you know, that pay for itself. Get everybody on the panel a couple of $100. You got 5 people on the panel, get them $1,000 a piece. You might make 20 grand on the bar, 30 grand, $30,000 grab, and you do 2 and 3 shows a night. You just run them back, hour segments, slots, whole weekend show. We in Vegas this weekend. We got shows like a comedy show. You know, a comedy show when they do it, they do it. You do a 7 o'clock, you do a 9 o'clock, you do an 11 o'clock, you do a 12 o'clock. It's 4 shows in one night. And if they're doing 4 shows, 500 people, that's $10,000 a watch. That's $40,000 a night. 3 nights. You're talking about 120 grand. Buy Vegas. Get everybody on the panel, $1,000 a show. They're making $4,000 a night. You're cleaning up. You're cleaning up. Plus the bar. I'm just saying, those are the type of things people need to think about and monetize. And she could do that. She could come up with well, she could do the new age 2025 Queens of Comedy Wildin' Out edition. Like it's just she just got to figure out her twist to it and do it. Well, I got another question. Why hasn't a female done a version of a sketch comedy show? Oh, the one girl on HBO, she did do something like Chappelle's show. The light skinned lady, she did do that. It was dope too. I don't know what happened. I think HBO pulled the plug on her. She only did 2 seasons, but she didn't own it. Jess Hilarious she could figure out a way to own her venue and keep all the bread. She may probably make more money doing
She'd
that
make
than the
more
bread.
money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She'd definitely make more money doing that than what she made
That's the
right now.
legacy play, man. You know, I hey, I'm gonna stop talking because I be
Yeah, you about to
I
give
be
away
on.
all the secrets.
Well, I was on another podcast last weekend, and we were talking about the infrastructure, and people don't really understand infrastructure um, when it comes to this thing, right? They don't really understand it. I do, but and I was just running. Now I'm probably gonna be a guest on their show every once in a while. Talk when they talk about entrepreneurship, just giving my perspective on it. That's it, man. Over.
All right, well, I appreciate you taking time to come on the podcast. You know, they about to kick us off, man. We're running out of time, so I don't
All
want you to
right.
get cut off mid-sentence, man. But y'all be good and stay safe.
All right.